tools. So let's start with the Space Blaster. It's a shoot them up, quite simple, that is vertical scrolling. So if I will go, just make sure you have an option, a property actually. You can preview in the browser of your choice, so you can browse directly in Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, or leave to your default browser. So my default browser is Firefox. It's how I like it, but you can use Chrome, Safari, or whatever you want, and you can just set it up into the preferences. So this one, I can't zoom that dialog, but on Skyra's website you have actually a manual and an interface, excuse me, dialogues, and see about the dialogues. So it's a new project. Here it is. Actually, it wasn't the new project, it was the preferences, my bad. So the preferences, and I can zoom it so you can see a bit more. The preferences you can modify. So you have one important button there, the reset dialogues. If ever you are, like, for example, using a double screen and have a dialog move to your second screen and you will remove your screen, you can come back to construct and it will have saved the last position of the dialogues. So if ever you were like lost, like where is my dialog, you reset dialogues up there and all will be set back to original, just in the middle. You can set your HTML5 export tools. So there, no, it's an old version. You can actually set your preview. A feature that you have on the commercial version, the personal license and business license, is that you can actually set your preview to be a server. So it will act as a server on your local area network, which means that I can actually start a preview from within Construct and go directly with a tablet, for example, or phone, using whatever browser I want. I can go directly to the URL of my current computer, and it will act as an HTML server. And so I will be able to preview the project that I'm working on right now up there and play it directly from a mobile device, for example, which is pretty nice and helps to helps with the workflow and testing out features as you are going. And in this preview tab, you can also set the default preview browser as well as a custom browser by setting directly its directory and the default export folder you want to export your projects to, etc. You can set the autosave features that are pretty useful, as well as backups, so that your projects are automatically saved on a regular basis. Whenever you save, you have backups file made, and you have also an autosave feature that will record and save your file as you are working on it. And you can set a few other options like the colors, and you can set a different theme to the editor. Right now I'm using really the basic theme, but you can have a darker tone. This is available again in the forums where our users have made some custom themes. So let's have a quick try at this game. So this one is a shoot 'em up that is made to work with actually with a touch device. So I'm working with my mouth as I'm going, and it's directly shooting. It's shooting on its own. I can set up the rockets, and you can see explosions, and you can't hear it because of the Skype capture, but it has sounds and music playing along as I'm going, and it has a pretty decent FPS as I'm going. I will stop it because actually it's kind of shouting in my ears. So let's have a quick look at the event sheet. So this one you can see is a bit more, I will zoom out just to have a global overview. There are quite some events, but actually there are only 64 events. The full game is made within the limitation of the free version. So it has 4 layers. That's one of the limitations. I can zoom this. So you can, this is the background layer, so it's just the basic, the back image. I add the game layer, so we have the rockets and the enemies, as well as our own ship, and a few elements that are going to be invisible when starting the game, and that are actually used within the code. And we have some sprites like explosions and some effects of the like. For example, this explosion there has a blend mode. It is to additive, so it means that there will be some kind of effect. I will try to show it again. Take a good notice at the explosions of the ships. It's actually blending nicely with the background, and it's disappearing smoothly. I hope you are seeing it nicely as well. But the ship explosions make a cycle, and it feels pretty natural, actually. And to see it better, let's just modify it, for example, and let's make it. What could work? Let's try a XOR, and we should see a difference. Yeah, you can see it. There is a black square around it. You can see that it has different angles, and it's not blending as well. And so that is really the blend mode, which works in Canvas 2D. And you can also add as effects Webgl effects that are more specific to the graphic cards, and that will work on certain browsers that really are supporting it. And whenever a browser and a game you have made is executed, and that WebGL is not supported and allowing you to make nice effects, Constructor actually calls back and gets back directly to Canvas 2D, where those kind of blending actually works. So you are kind of covered on that aspect. I will stop with this example. I'm going to show you other examples you have access to, which are the browse examples. And Construct 2 comes packed with, as you can see, 94 capixes. So it's actually a zip. It's an archive of a project. Because in Construct you can actually save as a project, which saves a folder in which you have all your files, and allowing you to modify some files like the sprites, for example, from outside of Construct 2, or save as a single file with is a kpix extension, and which is actually a .zip file just renamed, and it's a folder that is directly zipped, so it's make it far more easier to export and collaborate. So if you want to get some help on our forums, for example, you can attach directly your capix to any post you make, and any person who is going to download the file can open it within Construct and play and have all your projects, which makes it far more easier to investigate when you have issues or just to share. So let me show you a Webgl shader example for. So we're going to take the old TV effect. Here it is. So let's see it. It's blend mode. Here it is. So I have a cog sprite, I have mouse, I have background sprite, and the effect is actually applied to the layer under effects. And so as I was saying, you have a fallback, and you can set actually what kind of blend mode you want to fall back to, and you can add some effects. You can see there are a few effects there that have been added. So let's see how it goes. I hope it's showing quite nicely. So there is a distortion effect and a kind of noise going on, and it gives this, yes, old TV effect as I'm moving the sprite around. It's kind of cool. And so to do this, it's simply by adding, you have quite some effects you have already access to. You can add yourselves, and you can, if you are familiar with the GL shader language, kind of make your own effects and add them. But there is already a lot you can do by simply adding some of the basic effects and changing some of the properties. For example, we have the intensity of the grayscale. Let's put it to 100%, and now we don't have color anymore. It's all desaturated by just changing one property. I can change the size of the pixels, and here I'm having quite a different aspect. You may not see it, this one. I'll try to go for more. Let's go berserk. Oh, it's directly mosaic at this point. But yeah, you can see the effect by simply changing one property value. And so this is an example of a KPix that is provided directly with a construct, and that you can have fun with and just go and test out for lols and just for education at first. And one that is quite nice as well and is more mechanic oriented is this one, the Platform 6. And it's actually a very simple platform game. So, oh yeah, it's with this. And that allows you to move a character around, have a moving platform. And this is done quite simply, actually. Oh, let's remove one of them. Simply adding a behavior to this object. I have from base, my object is a sprite object, which at the moment it is just a square, a basic square that was filled. It's color filled. And as you can see, I've just modified my object, and it has been setted the behavior platform to it, as well as scroll to. So yeah, a little more on the interface of construct. So as I was saying earlier, you have your window size of 640 pixels by 480 pixels there. You can maybe see it. I will try to zoom on it. It's the dashed lines you have there. It goes to display the size that will be it will be previewed, and the size of your project compared to the size of your layout, which is a far bigger square. Which means that if I hadn't the scroll to behavior on this object, let's disable it, for example. It's not very obvious in there, so let's change the preview mode there, my object is just going out of screen.